The morning sun bathed Willow Creek Estates in a golden glow, but the tranquility shattered when our neighbor, Margaret Thompson, stormed across the street, her face twisted with righteous fury. "I'm calling the FBI," she screeched, jabbing a manicured finger at my wife, Emily, who stood calmly by our clothesline. Emily had hung her military uniform to dry, its crisp desert camo catching the breeze. Margaret, our HOA president, claimed it was a federal crime impersonating a veteran. She dialed 911 before Emily could respond, and within minutes, squad cars rolled into our quiet cul-de-sac. What unfolded next wasn't just neighborhood drama. It was a revelation that ripped our suburban paradise apart, exposing secrets I never imagined, not about Margaret, but about my own wife. Emily wasn't just a retired officer. She was something far more dangerous, and Margaret had no idea who she provoked. When Emily and I moved to Willow Creek, I thought we'd found Eden. Rows of cookie-cutter homes, emerald lawns, and neighbors who smiled as you passed. Margaret greeted us with a tray of lemon bars, her auburn hair pinned perfectly, a stars and stripes brooch glinting on her blazer. "Welcome to our little utopia," she cooed, her voice syrupy. But utopia? That word was a warning. Nothing perfect is ever what it seems, and Willow Creek was about to prove it in a way that would leave us all reeling. The trouble began on a breezy Tuesday when Emily hung her uniform outside. She'd served 15 years, retiring as a major, and that uniform was a badge of honor. She clipped it to the line with care, every fold precise. By noon, Margaret was at our door, her smile sharp as a blade. "That uniform is stunning," she gushed, but her eyes were locked on it, not us. "Where did you serve, dear? What was your role?" "Deployments." Her questions came like gunfire, each one probing deeper. She leaned too close, her brooch glinting as she fidgeted. "I've been tied to the military for 20 years myself, base support staff." Her words felt rehearsed, her gaze predatory, like she was hunting for a crack in Emily's story. Emily answered coolly, deflecting with questions of her own. "Which base?" "I've been to plenty." Margaret didn't flinch. "Fort Bragg, mostly. Admin work for soldiers' families. Rewarding stuff." But her tone carried an edge, and her eyes never left Emily's face, scanning for weakness. I felt the tension, like two fencers circling before a strike. That night, an HOA email landed in every inbox. Urgent. New military display policy. Margaret demanded proof of service for any military items displayed, citing respect for true veterans. Emily read it, her jaw tight. "James," she said, "this isn't about rules." "She's testing me." "Testing? For what?" But Emily's eyes held a glint I didn't recognize. Calm, calculating, ready. The next morning, Margaret's campaign escalated. She stood in her yard, phone to her ear, gesturing wildly at our clothesline. She wasn't hiding her surveillance. She wanted us to see. By 10 a.m., she was screaming into her phone, "911, emergency. We have a stolen valor case. Fake uniform, federal crime." Neighbors peeked from windows as sirens wailed. Chief Daniels, a grizzled ex-Navy man, arrived with Officer Lopez. Margaret rushed them, vibrating with zeal. "I'm Margaret Thompson, HOA president, military advocate. That woman's impersonating an officer." She pointed at our house like a prosecutor. Emily stepped outside, unfazed, and handed over her military ID. Margaret, smug, produced her own card. Chief Daniels frowned. "Ma'am, this is an expired dependent spouse ID. You were married to a soldier, not a veteran yourself." The crowd gasped. Margaret's face burned crimson. "I sacrificed too," she sputtered. "I deserve respect." Neighbors whispered. "She said she served. 20 years, she claimed." Emily, composed, addressed Daniels. "False accusations don't honor veterans, sir." He nodded, warning Margaret about wasting police resources. But Emily's calm scared me more than Margaret's meltdown. She'd made a hushed call earlier, mentioning an accelerated timeline. Timeline for what? Margaret didn't retreat. She installed a camera aimed at our house, started a safety-first group chat excluding us, and planted a package on our porch maps, surveillance manuals, nonsense papers. Emily examined it like evidence. "She's clever," she muttered, "but sloppy. How did she know it was planted?" Emily's research was eerie public records, databases I didn't recognize, notes like a detective's. She uncovered Margaret's past. Divorced from a sergeant, 5 HOAs in 10 years, always targeting military families with verification demands. She's a serial stalker, Emily said. But how did she predict Margaret's moves so precisely? The HOA meeting was a powder keg. Margaret turned the community center into a courtroom, her projector flashing photos of Emily's suspicious routines, morning runs, packages, phone calls. "This is about safety," she declared, her voice trembling with faux concern. The room split. Margaret's allies, older folks, scared parents flushed her handouts. Emily's supporters, military families, privacy advocates sat defiant. Most neighbors wavered, confused. Emily entered mid-presentation, her presence silencing the room. No uniform, just quiet authority. Margaret lost it. Stolen valor. Real veterans don't hide. Emily's response was surgical. Harassment and lies don't honor service. "Mrs. Thompson, explain your expired ID and false claims." The crowd erupted. Margaret's lies unraveled, but she doubled down. "I'll call the FBI. They'll expose you." Emily's composure cracked just a flicker. Why did the FBI scare her? The next morning, 3 agents in dark suits arrived. Margaret crowed, "Justice is here." But the agents marched to her door. Confusion swept the crowd. Emily emerged in full dress uniform, medals gleaming. A Major Emily Carter, Army Intelligence, investigating veteran benefit fraud. The neighborhood froze. The lead agent's voice boomed. "Margaret Thompson, you're under arrest for fraud, identity theft, and stealing $52,000 in veteran benefits." Margaret's crimes spanned years, exploiting HOAs to scam funds meant for heroes. She collapsed, screaming about entrapment, her patriotic facade shattered. The fallout was seismic. News vans swarmed, branding Margaret a national disgrace. Neighbors apologized to Emily, ashamed. "We held a barbecue to honor her and other veterans." The clothesline uniform, now a symbol of truth. Emily explained, "Margaret was a target in a multi-state sting. I moved here to catch her. I was floored. My wife, an undercover agent, had lived a double life beside me. You were my cover, James," she said. The realest part, Margaret got 4 years in prison, ordered to repay every cent. Willow Creek elected a new HOA president, vowing transparency. Emily took a consultant role, tracking fraud from home. A letter arrived for a new mission in Tampa. "Road trip," she grinned. But doubts linger. Emily's secrecy, her ease with deception, hero or enigma. Margaret was a fraud, but was Emily's mission too perfect? In a world of lies, who can you trust? Real veterans serve silently, fakes demand applause. Margaret learned that the hard way. Emily, she's my wife, my hero, but her secrets keep me awake. What do you think she's hiding? Drop your theories below.